Hello, interwebs. How are we doing this evening? As we start every other live stream. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Let me know in the comments. If you can, welcome to fart number. What are we on? Fart number 6, I think we're on. Fish and related things on the internet, where we can talk about whatever you want, really. Fishy type stuff or any other kind of stuff. As usual, I have my little piece of paper with some notes on, so when I run out of rambling I can start some other subjects. You can hear me good, nice to hear it. Let's have a look. Who have we got to say hello to so far? Hey, Macan. We won off France with football. Oh, you're Dutch then, I take it. Yes, that's my second team after good old Scotland. I think we've got Albania tomorrow, so I'm expecting a drubbing, obviously. Simple Fish Life, nice to see you, Ben. Darren Carter, Oddball Aquatics. Anna Smith, hello. Rocky's Rocky. Byron Crux, Discus Keeper. Evening, Colin. The Budget Aquarist. I don't think you'll find Joey here on this stream unless he comes to say hello, but I doubt it. So following on from last week, we'll make this the drunk cast. I've only had one, so we're not there yet. What's everyone else drinking? Teas and coffees are fine, as are soft drinks. So we captioned this, well, I captioned this, the Pea Puffers stream. So remember last week we set up that tank, then I made another video about scaping it, if you like. I was planning to just leave it planted for a while, so I stuck in a couple of guppies and I stuck in a few cherry shrimp, and then I noticed one of the local fish shops has a Facebook page and they posted up their stock list and they happened to have some Pea Puffers, and that was one of the things that I had mentioned that I quite fancied, so I thought, oh, that's good to know that they get that sort of thing, and I'll bear that in mind. And within about an hour and a half I was there looking at them, so got them, and they're brilliant. Yeah, I'm really enjoying them. I've actually, let's see if this works actually before I say anything. I've set up another camera. Where we've got that tank now. I think you might be able to see one or two of them. That's the thing about them, they're so tiny that it's really hard to find them, so I'm always thinking, oh no, they're all dead, where are they all? Oh, look at that, I can get me in it as well. There you go, there's one. They really are tiny, like proper tiny. If you see one of them go anywhere near one of the shrimp in there, the shrimp are way outsizing them. But they're still pretty awesome. I've been putting in tiny little snails as well, because I've got snails in this tank, and when they have audio rebound, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. I'm assuming it's not a good thing. I'll push on regardless. They're not even big enough to eat the tiniest of tiny snails. You hear my voice echoing? Oh god, what have I done? Right, let's go back to main. Is it still happening now? There are only so many settings that I can do while we're going. How can you possibly be hearing me repeating? Let's have a look. Everything's off monitor. Ah, I know what it is. It's that camera. Right, bear with me, this is going to take a minute to fix. So, that camera I was just showing you. Oh, now it's good. Yes, tank camera mic was on. So I need to figure out how to do that. So I probably won't do that again today because I'm not sure how to fix it right now. But anyway, yes, tiny little fish, and they're super awesome. And one of them's dead already, so I'm completely gutted. So if you watched the video I made midweek, I put down one of the things I said was it's a bit weird they're hanging out in a group, but it's two groups. There's one on his own and there's three. So I think the one that was on his own was obviously suffering in some way, and that's why he was on his own. So I had I came down the day after I released that video saying how awesome they were, and they were great, and they were doing really well, and one of them was lying there. So I was a bit gutted about that, but these things do happen. So I suppose I'm getting on for... oh, it's fixed now, good. Yes, I think it was definitely that camera. So I'm a bit gutted, but the three of them that are doing well are... The three of them that are still here are doing really well, and they're eating and hunting down snails, even though they're far too big to the... far too small to be able to take down even the biggest snails, so I think they've got a bit of growing to do. I'm not Irish. They're always after my lucky charms. Right, let's go back in the chat here. I'm a bit behind. Audio rebound. Tank looks great. It does look great. I'm really pleased with the tank itself. The plants, even some of the Anubias you can see in there. Well, I won't show you again, but they're sprouted a couple of leaves in the last week that we've been in there. Byron says, still split between pea puffers or shrimp. I've got both. The pea puffers are not even attempting to... A few times they've kind of looked at them funny as if they were going to go in, right, I'm going to go in and get you. But yeah, they've just left them alone. And I've read and heard about a lot of people that keep pea puffers and shrimp together, so yeah. Crux has bought Biomedia thanks to my reviews. It seems to be a very good product. Do you mean this? This is the bio home. I've just taken a new delivery of it, so fully stocked now. So go to aquariumadventures.co.uk if you want to get some. If that's what you're talking about, it is a very good product. That's one of the things I want to talk about later, because I've been basically having fights with people on the internet as is my wont, and that was one of the things I had a fight about. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Pardon me. Super chat, Discus Keeper 199. What does it say? How did I find out what you said? And Mackin for a new puffer. Oh, that wasn't why I mentioned it. Did you just send me a super chat and didn't say anything, Discus Keeper? Or can I not see it properly? Who knows? Right, I'm going to add you two as mods, seeing you're here every week and you're so supportive. Love that kind of thing. That doesn't mean that you can all... Well, you probably can all pay me to be moderators, but anyway, we'll go back to where we were. You've heard that if you raise them with shrimp, they won't eat them when they're older. Maybe that's true. Yeah, I've heard that about a few different types of fish. How are the discus doing? Any eggs again yet? No. So they've been downstairs for best part of 2 weeks and nada. So I have split them up and I've put one of them in with one of the discus from my main tank, and I've started quarantine. They've been doing that for what, 3 or 4 days now. So I'm going to pause breeding for a while, just get them in my main display tank and enjoy them for a while. I think they'll have a load of time where they can enjoy a big tank rather than be stuck in a breeding cube for a while. So I thought that might be the best. Did someone just fart? Yes, I'm in the middle of farting. Thank you, Mackin, for the new puffer. I know you're not Irish, but those of us with a bland American Midwest lack of any accent, I love yours. It's usually, I get asked to say, and you won't make any sense of this if you're an American anyway, I ask to say, there's been a murder, or there's been a murder and I fancy a curly whirly. Or what's the other one? I'm sure they'll come to me, and I'm sure we'll get them out of me later. Heather Nielsen, hello again. Yes, Pea Puffers. I will try and get back on this camera if I can figure out how to turn the microphone off. Hey, Discus Keeper. Down payment on mod chip. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you have to give every week. It's £5 a week. I'm not allowed to do the join thing, so this is my only way to get around it. You spoiled my joke, Ben. I wanted to call them all spanners as well. So yes. Oh, Discus Keeper saying he's got a new pair and they're laying every 4 days. I know. It's great when they're doing what you need them to do. But I've now had them for a good few months, and I just think it's time to give them a bit of a break. And it'll probably do them the world of good. They'll probably take a break, and I'll put them back in if they're still doing it in the main tank. I'll give them a while in there, and then get them back in the breeding cube and see if we can get things going. Because I know they're quite young fish as well, so there's plenty of time left. They've got plenty of years to go. You're a fine figure of a man, Willie Baxter. Yes. So, in terms of topics, I obviously wanted to talk about Pea Puffers, and I don't know, have any of you got Pea Puffers? Have any of you kept them in the past? Because I'm just so surprised of how I've missed out on puffers. So I've obviously got the Pea Puffer downstairs, and he's awesome as well because he's right up at the glass every time you go in. He's always feeding, he's always eating. And these are just the same. They're not just the same. They're a bit shyer, but when I've been in here for a while, if I turn around slowly, they'll usually come out. They like to hide away in all the foliage, but they'll come out. And I've got a nice bowl of frozen food, dry bloodworms and brine shrimp. Although now looking at it, I think I've picked up something else. One of them is brine shrimp. So we'll give them a feed in a bit if I figure out this camera. You just have to talk amongst yourselves for a while I turn around and fidget with the buttons. So Discus Keeper saying he keeps his in the community tank and the eggs last 2 days till the tetras eat them. It's usually the other Discus that eat them, but yeah, something will get them if it's in a community. The budget aquarists got a hell of a lot of fry. Is that on purpose, or are they just all going mad at once? Are you trying to do that? Got 35 people on already. This might be heading for some kind of new record. I think we peaked at 39 last week, and I'm amazed that there's 39 people up at this time of night. Or have you all just rolled in from the pub? Well, I suppose if you're in America, that doesn't make any sense to you either. So yes, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the Pea Puffers, and I mentioned last week that I'd put in an order for this stuff. It's the Hikari Vibra Bites, and if you follow me on whatever it was that I posted it on, I've been going round all my tanks feeding them with this, and every single tank has loved it. And I thought, well, we're definitely onto a winner. The only tank that won't eat it is the only tank that I actually wanted them to eat it. So they're just ignoring it as if it's some kind of predator I'm putting in the tank when I give them some of that. But Discus and my current Discus are very finicky eaters. We talked a bit about it last week, where they'll go in cycles of a couple of months where they'll only eat one thing and then they'll stop, then they'll only eat another thing, then they'll stop. But as soon as I put it in the tank, bang, straight on it. I think it's because they like bloodworms, and I don't ever give them bloodworms, so they thought they were bloodworms and went for it. But my Pea Puffer, he's eating them. No, he would never touch any kind of pellet at all, and again, straight on it, bang. The Vitalis stuff for Discus, it is a really good pellet, and that's kind of my staple. It's my go-to food. But they've kind of gone off it a bit recently, and that's the first time in years that I've not been able to get them to eat the Vitalis pellets. So I'm glad that this came along just at the right time, that I can try it. Not the cheapest thing in the world. I think this was, I want to say, 18 quid or something like that for, how much is it, 280 grams. So it's not cheap, but if it does what it says on the tin or the bag, I can live with that. So yes, I've got the Vibra Bites, but the Pea Puffers aren't having any of it. But again, the puffer downstairs, that was really good. That both he and the Ghost Knife Fish, they go mad for it. I can't afford for them to go too mad for it, because the amount that they can put away, they'll get through this bag in a couple of weeks. Can I link what one? The Vibra Bites or the Vitalis pellets? Yeah, so I can definitely recommend them. Let's see, I'll prepare both. Let's see, we'll do one. Try one of those transitions. I should probably get off the football before I do that. Nah, I didn't buy them off Amazon. Or did I? I think I might have got them off eBay. I'm sure I paid £18, but as you can see there, they're £22 they want. So it's good. Is it £22? Is it £22 good? Not entirely sure. But it's good stuff. So I'll put this link in the... press the wrong button. I'll put this link in the chat just so as you know what it is that I'm talking about. But go and source it somewhere else, I think. Monkey Nut says he needs some puffers, or she needs some puffers. You do. I can't believe I've gone this long as a hobbyist without keeping puffers before. I'm kind of reimagining all my tanks now, saying, well, I could get this type of puffer in there and I could do this one. Because they're just so fun and interesting. As much as I love discus, they pretty much do this. 24 hours a day, or 23 and a half hours a day, and the other half an hour they do this. Beautiful, interesting in their own way, but they're not the most interactive of fish. Crux is saying the ingredients don't seem to be the best. I was looking at the ingredients earlier. There might be things that have slightly better ingredients, but it's relative, isn't it? It's, if you bring me a food that's got the top ingredients ever, and this is the source of many internet arguments, it doesn't really matter. It's what they'll eat, and if something will eat something, that kind of, I'm much more interested in whether or not a fish will go for the food and whether you can pile it in and get them to eat it all than how good it is. Because if I can make the best beef heart in the world, but if the fish won't eat it, it's useless. It might have the best ingredients, lovingly prepared, but it's kind of pointless if they don't eat it. So I've seen some of the arguments about the ingredients not being the best. They're not bad, but yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that, but I think it's still going to be in my stock cupboard for a while. Let's see if we can catch up a little bit. Yeah, so I bought this lot from eBay because it's fairly new and I couldn't find it in many places. All the local fish shops that I go to, none of them stocked it, so I had to go online for it. So yes, I got them off eBay. Budget Aquarius is about 20 minutes after 5 here in Indiana. So you're just finishing, well, you would be finishing work, or if you work, or that's probably an annoying time for you because you want to be getting your dinner and things like that. 11:18 PM here. Well, yes, you're an hour ahead again, I guess. If your LFS has it, it's worth going because often I've noticed that they get sample packs in, so if you're on good terms with them, they may well give you a sample pack. And then at least you get to try it out before you splurge a fortune on a big pack like this. Also, that is the biggest pack that they do in retail. So there are a lot smaller bags that are a lot cheaper, obviously. So I definitely took a punt going for the big bag, and I'm glad because it's paid off. Hello JH, how are we doing, Joseph? Hi Heather, hello again. Simple Fish Live, Melvin's Aquatic. Oh, Melvin's Aquatic Empire, the nicest comments I've ever seen. Have you seen a channel called Fish Dork? He's low subs but great content. Marine only so far. I haven't. Let's have a look at that. I mean, this is one of the things I wanted to get out of fart. So it's fishing related things on the internet. The first few videos that were actually videos rather than live streams, I wanted to do a section where it was promoting smaller channels. I mean, mostly in the hope that someone else would promote me as a smaller channel, but no, I jest. Because there are some gems out there. There's people that are really knowledgeable. One of the things, the truest thing I've ever heard is the people that really know things about fish keeping aren't on YouTube, and they aren't on Facebook. But sometimes they get convinced by their kids or their grandkids to make a video about something, and you can learn loads. And some of them are young kids that have got great knowledge. Let's see, what was I going to do there? I've lost my thread of concentration. What was it called again? Fish Dork. Let's have a look. Excuse my clanging keyboard. Let's have a look. We've got Dork Fish. Another dorkfish, another dorkfish. No fish dorks. Can you put a link in the chat if you've been seeing some of these videos? Now that you're a spanner, you should be able to do that. Budget Aquarius says he loves puffers. Had them a long time ago. Yes, I love puffers, and I've only just started keeping them. I don't know what I was thinking, not getting them earlier. Oh, I've just seen a comment by my favourite commenter. What's up, all you stanky, nasty, funky, fish-keeping funkadelics? That must be worth a like button smash, or whatever it is, a gentle caress. I'm wearing Michael's Fish Room t-shirt tonight, so I think we're doing gentle caresses. 43 chatters, that's a new record. Everyone's saying hello to each other. He's UK based. Yeah, stick a link in the chat and we'll have a look. I've been looking at it, and I think we can look at people's videos under the fair use law before we get a content strike or anything like that. And especially as we're promoting it, I'm sure he's not going to put a strike out himself. So where were we? Well, yeah, we've talked about it a little bit. One of the things I want to talk about later, maybe not right now, maybe once I'm on to the third or the fourth beer, is controversial things in the fish scene. So I mentioned this, and I think Corey in Aquarium Co-op was talking about this, where he gets a lot of flack because he did a video recommending it, and I actually bought it before he recommended it, but still, it translates. There's always someone who thinks they're an expert in something else. And the way people discuss things on the internet always degenerates into a fight or a slanging match. And 99% of the time when I'm doing my interactions on Facebook and YouTube and all these things, oh, he's on the Stella, I try to let it all wash over me, because it's just not worth getting into any kind of argument with people about these things. But sometimes when you've had a bad day at work, you think, right, I'm going to engage the troll, and I'm going to make him look silly, or I'm going to destroy him, or I'm going to baffle him with logic and things like that. And that has been my week this week. So I've had a few people at work doing my nut, as they say where I come from, where it's just decided that, right, this guy's trying to start a fight with me. Normally I would just ignore him, but today I'm going to pick up on it. And it's happened a couple of times this week, and it's been about planted tanks and biohome. That's the two main things that someone has grind my gears, or someone has flicked my switch, whatever it is. So what are the things that you see out there? Let me know some other controversial topics so we can discuss them, and we can see if we can do it in a nice manner, in a peaceful way, and spread some good vibes rather than a hateful manner. The funny thing, the one about the planty tanks, was someone had posted a question about what is it with these planted tank substrates. Could I just go out, and he was obviously fairly new to that, and I don't class myself as a planted tank expert at all. He said, what's the deal with these planted tank substrates that are really expensive? Can I go grow plants with just sand and root tabs? And the first comment on there was, no, absolutely not. They're chalk and cheese, or something along those lines. If might go and have a look later, but that's just complete crap. So my display tank, which you've seen, that's got sand and root tabs with no planted tank substrate, and I struggle to keep the plants under control. They grow so well. This tank here, sand and root tabs. Now it's only a couple of weeks old, so that's not a good example because you can't tell whether it's going to work or not, but I've done it dozens of times. So I started off politely saying, well, no, you can do this. And he wasn't having any of it, and he's one of these people, they just definitely just want to have the last word, and I probably went too far, because I decided to engage troll mode. So where he's obviously being a troll, I can say, well, I control harder than you can, so I'll give you a bit more, and it helps no one. So I thought, let's start a revolution and try and discuss these things a little bit more civilly, if that's the way to put it. Because you can 100% grow plants in sand using root tabs. Now, can you grow plants better with a good quality planted tank substrate? Of course you can. That wasn't the question, and that's what this guy was going on about. And one of the things he did is he was slagging me off because I knew nothing about biology or botany. That he was an expert and he knew better than me, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm definitely not an expert in biology or botany. My wife is a biologist though, so she is, and she does tell me often. If anyone out there's got a wife, you're probably used to them telling you things and how you're wrong about most things. But yes, she backed me up. I was completely correct about the things that I was saying. But I checked him out and I clicked on his link, and he worked in a post office or something like that. So he wasn't an expert biology or expert botanist or anything either. So it just makes me laugh that some people pick a topic and decide to become an expert in it with very little knowledge and very little effort to even go and look at it. I mean, these planted tank substrates didn't even exist a few years ago. They're only new. I mean, they're great. They do what you want them to do, but people used to just have gravel or just have sand or just have dirt. Yeah, I don't know. So, sorry, where was I? I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there. Good Saturday morning from Aussieland. Yes, God, we've got all corners of the globe covered. I make videos because my wife of 26 years isn't nuts about fish like we are. Yeah, very much the same here. Vicky, my wife, she likes the fish, as in likes looking at them. She really loves... battered my camera. She really loved the little Pea Puffers. She's got no interest in looking after any of them though. I'm streaming to the TV now. Hello Colin. That's total crap. My community tanks plants are going mental and I don't even use root tabs. Yeah, I mean, it's all about nutrients. Are you getting the nutrients that you need? Is the plant getting the nutrients it needs? It doesn't matter where it comes from. the fancy substrates came after the planted tanks. Exactly. Yeah, people have been doing planted tanks for years without these things. You can now do them a lot better and a lot quicker and easier with the new substrates, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it the old way. I also had another bloody argument with another tool. Let me see if I can find them. He ended up linking, so this was another argument about root tabs in general. Well, in fact, there were two arguments. So one of the arguments was you can't use root tabs because they're low quality, they dump all their nutrients into the water at once and then that's it and they're gone. So that's a root tab if you've never seen one before. It's essentially a little gel capsule filled with slow release fertilizers. So the other one was claiming that you had to buy specific ones and you linked to them. So I bought them, and that's them there. That's the one I was showing you, so I'll get one out of the other ones. So the ones that I bought off eBay are these ones. Let me just hold them up side by side. Exactly the same. And do you know why? Because these are all made by people at home using a commercially available plant fertilizer called Osmocote. So they're exactly the same colours, exactly the same mix. They're really good. They're not bad or not, but according to internet experts, this one terrible, this one brilliant, or it might even be the other way around. Yeah. And the fact that, yeah, you can make these at home dead easy. I'm probably going to start putting them on my website as well because it is so easy. And you buy the stuff and they sit under there and they're good for anywhere between 3 and 6 months is my kind of, that's where I land on them. As long as you change them out, then your plants can get whatever it is they need. And a lot of plants don't even need the roots to be, or the substrate to be providing their fertilizers because they get it from the water, they get it from other areas. Fish snobs and fish police, they're kind of the two banes of my life. Well, that's a huge over exaggeration, but they're one of the things that really wind me up. Yeah, McCann say not even CO2, he's used that. The CO2 is a new one on me. It has made a massive difference, I must admit. I got that JBL CO2 kit downstairs on my planted tank. And what had been growing at, let's say if the rate was 1, the rate's definitely now kind of 5 or 6. It's a lot bigger. Who else have we got we messed up? King and Queen Cichlids. Hello there. I must apologise for my Addams Family joke a few months ago. Michael posted a picture of the king from King and Queen Cichlids. I said, why are you hanging around with the guy from the Addams Family? But there is a striking resemblance there, you must admit. What's the best way to move a full aquarium? Oh, what's the best way to move a full aquarium with fish to another place in the room? Ugh, there isn't one. Empty it, or at least drain it to a tolerable level. You can get these moving packages where it comes with a lever and you can put a little coaster underneath it, and you do that for each corner. I worry that you're stressing the tank when you're doing each of those lifts. So I've done it in my tank where I've moved it around. I just drop the water level as much as possible and push it and hope that it's not going to scratch up anything, or you really, if it's a big deal to you, if you've got a nice floor and you don't want to mess anything up, drain the tank, put the fish in, even just a big tub, move the tank, fill it back up, put the fish back, they'll be fine. My wife loves looking at them too, finds it very relaxing. Yes, I think she thinks it keeps me busy because I'm constantly doing water changes or things like this, making videos and live streams, and she doesn't have to do it, and it's a nice piece of furniture at the end of the day. Discus Keeper had a full Dennerley planted tank and only stopped his cost end. It's ridiculous. Yes, some of the amount of money you can spend on things is ridiculous. just my cans just sub to King and Queen Cichlids. It's definitely worth a sub, that channel. I've been enjoying it for a couple of months now. It does some really good videos and kind of doesn't hold back on his opinion. That's one of the things I quite like about it. But they're very personable, and they do a lot for the community and putting on shows and things like that. I think you've now finished for shows for the year, is that right? You've done your last one? Or have you got some new ones in? Dog poop, is that the new fertilizer? Is that where we should be going? Maybe that's where I'm going wrong. We've got Michael in the house. Look what I'm wearing. Just for you. It just happened to be clean. Oh, you got some devil's ivy the other day. You put the roots in your tank and it's just dying off. Ugh. I don't know why. I've never had it die off for me. You've not put too much in the tank, have you? So it is definitely only the roots, not the stem and not the leaves, or it will melt away. King and Queen Cichlids. I look like Gomez, like you look like Shrek. I do look like Shrek. One of the worst moments of my life was when so I'd gone to see Shrek, and then everyone said, "Ha, you sound like that guy Shrek, ha, and you look a bit like him too, ha ha ha." And then we went to see Shrek 2, one where he turns into a human. I was sat in the cinema going, "Oh God, the human version looks like me too. I'm never going to live this down." So yeah, I feel your pain when you got a tiny resemblance to someone. Everyone always mentions it and always thinks they're the first people to do it. Go full screen again. Am I not full? Oh shit! Sorry. You need to remind me about my transitions. There we go. Thank you. I do look a bit sexy in this shirt, don't I? That's a bit weird, you saying it though. So you've just put the roots in, Ben, and it's dying off. It's definitely the right thing. You need to do a video. Let's have put a video up and let's have a look at it again. He does look like Gomez. I know he does. That's why I said it. It's not a bad thing. Dansfish, nice to see you in there. 45, 46 in the house now. We're breaking all kinds of records today. So, unless anyone else can think of anything else to say, I'll go on to my biohome rant. As you may know, I now sell this stuff on my website, but before I sold it, I've used it for the past couple of years. And someone on a Facebook group had posted that they'd just bought a load of this stuff, and everyone was giving them all kinds of crap. So I decided I was going to weigh in. Oh, you got some Amazon puffers today. Cool. What would I know them as? Or are they their own breed? I will pause my rant and I'll come back to you in a second. I'm going to have to look that up. Oh right, yes. Another freshwater one. I've yet to find a type of puffer that I don't think is awesome. Yes, Michael, I've already done one rant. I'm moving on to my second rant now. So, biohome, this stuff. Everyone was jumping on this poor guy, telling them he bought some snake oil, that he didn't like it, that Cyperax is better, that all you need is Alpha Grog, all you need is ceramic rings, all you need is this, that and the other. So I jumped in and said, full disclosure, I am selling this stuff on my website now, but I really like it. It's a really good filter media. That's not to say all other filter medias are bad. Some of the ones you've mentioned are also really good. I just believe that this one's better. And again, they went a bit crazy and said, you can't say that, you've got no scientific proof. And I was like, well, show me your scientific proof about why it's not brilliant, or why your one's better, and all that kind of stuff. So, again, you can't have a discussion on the internet without it degenerating into playground stuff, but this is what I say. This stuff is a good filter media. Why it costs more is because of the claims that it will do your nitrate reduction with your anaerobic bacteria. But if nothing else, it's an extremely porous, extremely efficient filter media. So one of the tests you could do, and one of the arguments I had with the guy was, there's no way you can prove how porous a media is. If you take some water, or I don't have any water and I really don't want to waste any beer on it, but the capillary action test, and I think I've even made a video on it myself on one of my biohome videos, you dip the tip of this into some water and within a couple of seconds the whole thing is sucked up and filled up with water. And I think, again, I believe that's how you get your anaerobic element to this. Because when you break this apart and you look at it under a microscope, I'm not going to be strong enough to do it now, but you see all these little, this is never going to work from here, but essentially there's millions of little tunnels in there, and it doesn't get clogged as easily as things like Alpha Grog or Cyperax and all these things. And that's where your anaerobic bacteria grows. Now, it will do that better if you use it in some kind of reactor or some kind of huge sump, because anaerobic bacteria likes a lack of oxygen and it likes certain conditions. But the way I believe this is working is that it's creating those conditions inside the media. So that's why normally you would expect in a reactor or something you have stages to get rid of the oxygen in the water so you can then grow your anaerobic bacteria. And so this is using the outside to get rid of the oxygen, and in the middle it's growing the anaerobic bacteria, and that's why it's doing it. Now, if it doesn't work for you, there might be a million reasons why it doesn't work, and if it does work for you, there might be a million reasons that are nothing to do with the biohome that it's working for you. But to just blandly say this is snake oil and it's no use by X, Y, and Z, and some of the things that other people were suggesting were just as expensive as this. And it's really not all that expensive when you think about how much some people spend on various things. Yeah, it just kind of grinds my gear. I'm going to end up sounding like Peter Griffin here. Grinds my gears. So that's my rant about biohome. I think it is good stuff, and even if you take away the nitrate removal element of it, it's a really good media. If you've got a massive sump, yes, fill it with bio balls, fill it with ceramic rings, fill it whatever the hell you want with. You'll get really good filtration. If you don't have a massive sump or a massive amount of space for filter material, then use biohome. It's compact. It's really good stuff. I like it. You don't have to like it too. I won't fall out with you if you don't like it, but I should be allowed to make my case. And don't get paid for saying this. I pay good money for this stuff to then try and sell it. Yes, I get some money if I do that, but there we go. Oh, we've got another super chat. King of Queens, give this man some super chat. His accent alone deserves it. I am more than happy to be sold out to say some crazy Scottish phrases for you if you like. But thank you very much. There's no need to give me super chats all the time, but I will happily accept them all. Right, let's go back into talking about some other things. So, where did we get up to? Michael, should you get a puffer? Yes, you should. They're way cooler than flower horns. He says, having never owned a flower horn. Yes, give me some thumbs up. I have no idea how many thumbs up we've got, but we can always use more. Ah, so the Amazon puffer, Dan's saying, one of the few puffers that can live in a group without shredding each other. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things I liked about the pea puffers. I mean, one of the disappointing things I thought was the fact that I look at them and think, there's no way they can bully other fish. They're tiny, there's nothing they can do to them. But I have seen it. They're just so freaking cute. I'm going to try and sort this camera out while I chat. And see if I can figure out how to turn the sound off. If anyone knows in the chat how to turn the microphone off on a Panasonic G7, because so far I don't. I wonder, could I just mute that? No, it's already muted. This must be scintillating viewing. Tell you what, we'll read the instructions, that's what we'll do. That's a good point. Dan's Fish saying, of course you get a puffer, they're perfect for guppy culls. Yeah, they would do. You could put them to work. Discus Keeper says he would buy Biohome to support Pond Guru. His content's very, very good. It is. Yeah, he does a lot as well. If you don't know, Pond Guru is the manufacturer of Biohome, so it's not like it's a big corporation. It's one guy in the northeast and, well, a couple of guys in the northeast that produce this and manufacture it. But it's really good. Catching up in the comments. Right, can you stop calling everyone sexy, please, Mike? This is a PG chat room. Dan's off to feed some fish and lurk in the background. Okay, we'll shout on you if you need anything. Get these likes up. So the budget Aquarist. That's my video using Osmocote and Aquarium. Ah, yes. We should take a look at that. I didn't realise you'd made one. Yeah, so if you missed my earlier rant, that was about people being very precious about root tabs and what a root tab is and how it's made. So someone suggested that you should only buy one brand. I buy the cheap ones off eBay and I make my own now. And it turned out they were exactly the same thing, because anyone selling these on eBay is making them at home using Osmocote. Yes, we might look at that in a minute when I run out of things to say. Dexter Lavanis prefers a boop. Yes, smash, caress, boop. Don't really care what you do, as long as you click that like button and you do some shares and things like that. Do you think this accent makes me sound smarter? I'm not sure it does. Certainly no one I've ever met has told me that. It is expensive, but if it stays expensive for as long as it should, then it's worth it. Yeah, one of the things that I often hear is about Biohome is, oh, it'll disintegrate after a year, it just turns to dust. It won't. It's sintered glass. It's the same stuff that most media is made out of. It's just the way that they make it and dry it that makes it slightly different, and they add some stuff as well, obviously. The thing holding me back for Biohome is that I heard the anaerobic and aerobic bacteria storage can't work in a canister, only in a sump because of the lack of air. Well, full disclosure, I've never used it in a canister. Well, I am now using it in the canister filter for this tank, and so hopefully one day I'll be able to tell you something, but I've never done it before. I've only ever used it in a sump. But the theory is that you need the oxygen to dissipate so as you can get that full cycle, if you like. And the reason Biohome's claiming to be able to do that is because it can do it within the media itself rather than doing it within the filter. And so you're not creating an area of the filter where you can do that anaerobic bacteria cultivation. You're creating an area within the filter media that can do that for you. Whether it's true or not, I can't say 100%. The science kind of makes sense. But yeah, give me a few months and hopefully I'll be able to tell you one way or the other. But at worst, it's a really good, efficient filter media. God, now Michael's paying to say smash the like button. And King and Queen Cichlids again. What's going on? This is a bit like my kids watch Mr. Beast, who just randomly jumps on people's streams and starts throwing money at them. You guys are going crazy. Talk like an ogre. I'm already talking like an ogre, aren't I? Yeah, exactly. You guys must be popular at the strip club. Yes, Disc Keeper. So, Pond Guru watches some of my videos and often comments on them, and I think I made some comment about Scotsmen being tight, and if that doesn't make sense where you are being cheap with money. I said, yeah, it's a stereotypical Scotsman thing. He says he knew that copper wire was invented by Scotsmen because it was invented by two Scotsmen fighting over a penny and creating copper wire. Are you using ODS? OBS, yes, I'm using OBS. Jeremy's had a trio of Pea Puffers living in 10 gallons in April. Yeah, they're doing well. Yeah, they're brilliant, aren't they? I can't get enough of them, to be honest. I'll sort out this camera and we'll give them a bit of a feed in a minute. I need to go and look up the instructions to see how to turn the microphone off, or you're just going to hear everything twice. Enjoy your dinner, Michael. Goodbye. Vine Frick, Michael's donkey. Yeah, probably. If anyone wants to take over where Mike left off for the super chats and see if they can outbid King and Queen, by all means go for it. What else have we got? When's the next update on the show tank? It's not really a show tank, it's my display tank, yes, but I see what you mean. I haven't filmed one. I've filmed a couple of videos in advance. But yeah, I'll get one together soon. I'm meeting Mike for lunch on Sunday. I've got to keep my pennies. He doesn't eat lightly. Right, chat, let's have some new topics to talk about. Otherwise I'm going to go on another rant. And I want to look up how to fix my camera. So, Lumix G7, turn off mic. How do we do that? Turning off the internal mic, that's what we want. Sponsored message. That's not what I want after all. Anyone own a Panasonic G7 and know how to turn off the mic? Alright, we might be onto something here. Again, this must be riveting viewing. It may not be possible. Don't you hate when people ask for questions on a forum and someone else points them at a manual which they clearly don't have? Right, turns out it's not possible, so I need to think of a new way to do this. So, what, you want more rants, really? That can't be true. Oh dear, Liz has got her whip out. Do you have any experience with gouramis? I kept dwarf gouramis for a while, and I've kept opaline gouramis, which I think some people just call blue gouramis, for a while. What do you want to know? And I'll see if I can help. My can's got 38 litres of Ciporax in my canisters, and an expensive exercise of replacing it. See, in that situation, I just wouldn't. If you're happy with the way your filters are working, doesn't matter how good something else is, it's not going to be that much better than something that's already doing what you wanted to do. So stick with what you've got, it'll be fine. Jeremy's out here. Nice for you stop. Thank you for stopping by, is what I was trying to say. Yeah, by all means, come back again. We'll talk to you again later. Darren Fieldhouse, hello there. You love it when I go do 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 do. Yeah, that's my. Apparently, when you're doing live streaming, you should never leave it silent. It's kind of like being on radio or something like that. So when I need to concentrate, I'll just make silly noises for a little while. Temperament of them and male to female ratio. So you were interested in dwarf Grammys, so that's the ones we tend to see in places like Pets at Home and all the big box stores and all that kind of stuff. I kept them for... They were one when I first started getting into fish keeping the second time round when I was an adult. I kept them for a couple of years, and they were little gets, basically. I would keep them alone. Unless you're trying to breed them, make it a centrepiece fish for a smaller tank or something along those lines. Try and keep more females with males if you are going to do it that way. But even saying that, I did once try that and the females beat up the male, and I couldn't find a happy medium with them. If you go on Google, they'll tell you one thing and another about what way to do it, but it really depends on the individual fish in my experience. I would go for... It depends on your tank size. If you've got a big enough tank, I'd go for a different variant of gourami, because some of them, and to be fair, a lot of them can be assholes as well, but some of them are a bit more pleasant and tolerable. I found my niche with the blue opaline gouramis. They were quite peaceful. No pearl and various other types people have kept and said that they're quite peaceful. Unless you're really stuck on getting the dwarf, I'd go for one of the other ones. The dwarfs are also... They're not unhealthy, but unfortunately they're prone to disease because of the way that they're bred for the commercial market. So it's a problem waiting to happen usually. Never change what works. What's that, ranting? Can you recommend any online buying sites for fish in the UK, as most tubers are not based in the UK? Yeah, often when you watch fish tubers, you hear them talking about aquabid and things like that, where we don't really have an equivalent. We have Aquarius Classified, but it's the most clunky old piece of crap website I've ever seen. I was actually discussing with someone a while back about buying it, but they wanted quite a ridiculous price for it. And you'd really just be buying the contents, because you'd need to just destroy the website and start again. In the UK, it's joining specific groups on Facebook that sell either in your locality, or they're a group that sells the type of fish that you're interested in, and finding a breeder that way, or finding someone that's willing to ship to you, or whatever it might be. I think that's kind of what we're limited to in the UK. Obviously eBay as well, but that's a bit of a gamble. Any more updates on the Felix? Well, they made what they wanted. They got the funding, so it's going to happen. I'm hoping, because they've now gone way over what they actually wanted, I'm hoping now it's going to be speeded up a little bit. Because I think it's... I can't remember the date. I think it was possibly May that they were due to be shipped. But I've been invited to a Facebook group for people who have joined in early and done the whole funding thing. And they've started to do a few releases on things like new features. So they've shown you some screenshots of the app and it looks great. Yeah, everything's really positive. I can't complain about it. But they released a thing the other day where they said they've teamed up with Senai. You know, Senai, who make one of the current things that I was hoping Felix would replace rather than team up with. Senai kind of annoyed me a little bit because they keep making promises to deliver something down the line. If I'd bought a Senai when I first started looking into them, which would have been, what, I wouldn't say 3 years ago, but maybe 2 years ago, one of the things they said that there was a nitrate measuring slide coming on the market imminently, still doesn't exist. So that's a little bit disheartening. It could be that they're going with them purely because they've already got the hardware developed, so they've got their temperature probes, their pH probes, all that kind of stuff, and they can just rebrand it and call it that. And if it's that, then fine. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So that's my update on the Felix. When I get a little bit more information, I will definitely let you all know. Dexter Lavani, past bedtime for me. Catch you later. Have fun and go easy on that, Stella. Well, I'm going to run out of them soon, so I won't go too mad. And I hope there's a dirty kebab in your near future. Not tonight, no. I'm already well fed tonight. Crux has started counting how many times Corey Aquarium Co-op says alright. And that being said, I mentioned that to him a few times. It must be hard work. I mean, it's really not hard work. It's me sitting here in an empty room ranting at a camera with some blue flashing lights on it. It's hard work in the sense that it's difficult to keep talking. As much as I love the sound of my own voice, it's hard to keep saying things constantly. But I enjoy it because you get to see what people think straight away and what you're talking about. I'm trying to find some kind of hook with live streams, whether it be talking about the videos that I've made recently or videos other people have made and all that kind of stuff. But my plan so far is to write down some potential topics and talk about them, and then see what you guys want to talk about as well. So I don't think you need respect, because pretty much anyone could do it. As long as you've got a computer and an internet connection, you're halfway there. Aquafunk's got to wash the dishes. That's not very funky. See you in the next one. Well, thanks for stopping by anyway. You still on the rum and coke, Ben, or have you passed out now? Thanks for stopping by, Anna. It is late. How long have we been going, actually? What's that? Just about an hour. Dan's Fish is making getgills.com friendly to European fish sales. Excellent. And I've wondered why no one's got into it before, because when well, it's definitely not going to happen, so I can probably tell you. So Tim at Corbin Discus, he found out about Aquarius Classifieds being put up for sale, and contacted me because I make his website. So you may know I have a little sideline. I have lots of little sidelines, but I've got a little sideline making websites. And he thought he'd get some advice off me as to how we could make it better. And essentially I said, you can't, you need to trash it and start again. But I was interested because I saw that gap in that market, because not only the UK but Europe, there isn't something like Aquabid over here. It's all these little disparate groups, so there's definitely something to go there. So I'd be interested in finding out more about getgills.com, especially when it comes over for European sellers. You'll be ready for folks with Scottish accents. And yes, I'm available for translation services anytime you want. Darren Carter asks, what made you get into the hobby? I had fish when I was a kid, so I think I had a tank of neon guppies, and then when they all died, that was it. They were gone, and then that was it. When I moved to Sheffield, so obviously I'm from Scotland, I left Scotland to take a job down in London to find my fortune. It turned out to be Hemel Hempstead, which isn't London, which we talked a little bit about last week. And when I got to Sheffield, settled down here, and we kept reptiles for a while, and still do have many reptiles. And it just seemed the natural progression was to get some fish. So I did get some fish, and then I just got more and more interested in it. So I had a little 60-litre tank for maybe a year or so. And then when I turned 30, was it? For a birthday, my wife got me a big tank, and that was an All Ponds Solutions 330-litre tank, I think it was, which I put in some crappy discus from a crappy fish shop, and they all died, but I did my best trying to keep them going, and that properly got me hooked, and that's when I started to really learn about fish and fish keeping in general. And when you start learning about something, it's very easy to get hooked. So that's what made me get into the hobby. The whole YouTubing and video thing, that started as just taking some videos of fish, so discus that I'd bought as babies, and loading them onto my YouTube channel, and no talking, no search engine optimization, any of that nonsense. I was just seeing how big they got, and then eventually people started commenting and asking questions, and then I started looking into what YouTubing meant, and how to make videos, and how to edit, and and because I'm a bit of a techie geek anyway, that was just what got me into that side of things as well. John Floyd, you've got some new discus and they're on hunger strike. Ah, yes. It's a worrying time that I've often had new fish where they don't eat for going on 2 weeks sometimes, and you think, oh God, it's gone terribly wrong. I wish I had some silver bullet that could say, do X, Y, and Z and it'll fix it. But there isn't. There's so many things you could do there. I would say, speak to the person you got them from, and talk to them extensively, and if they're any good, they'll help you out. I can't remember where you said you got your fish from, but if you let me know, I'll tell you whether or not you're going to get some good advice. Talk about what people are asking you. That's what makes us want to join your chats, talking to you because we find you interesting. Interesting can be taken two ways, I guess. No, but thank you very much. Some say lives are boring and way too long. I do my water changes, so always something to listen to. Yeah, I struggle to watch. If I don't find a live stream going on, I very rarely watch them. I watched JH Aquatics, a couple of his last live streams on replay because they were interesting, but or if it's a topic that I'm interested in. But it's, what did I title this one? Pea Puffers and Other Ramblings. So we talked about Pea Puffers for about 5 minutes and then rambled about something else for an hour. Podcasting, that's a thing now, and it's something that some people are doing where their live stream is effectively a podcast. So I quite often go to London, so that's what, depending on the train, a 2 or a 3 hour train journey, and I've got into listening to Aquarium podcasts in there, which I thought I'd never do. I thought that was way too sad to spend time listening to that sort of thing. But yeah, it's effectively Aquarium Co-op live streams converted into a podcast, or the Aquarist podcast converted into, well, already a podcast, I guess. But yeah, they make sense of that. I'm sure if I ever get any kind of structure going, I might do the same with mine, but I don't think anyone wants to hear this unstructured rambling. Discus keepers off, if you've already gone, sorry. In the Netherlands, it's banned to send livestock. Yeah, there are some rules to get around. It can only be done by major couriers like DHL, etc. Yeah, there are certain rules, and I think there's only 1 or 2 courier firms here that are licensed to sell or to send fish with in the UK. They've also just changed the rules as well about who can sell what and where. So you used to be able to sell fish if you were a hobby breeder, and that's no longer the case as well. So Eddie's talking and saying he's in Lincolnshire but struggling to find any fish clubs online selling except from the local fish store Facebook site. I see what you mean there, but if the regulations are in place and it's coming from a good place to make sure that the fish are being taken care of, then you can only say that's a good thing. I'm just getting really emotional and crying. I just got a bit of a frog in my throat. So as it's just not a free-for-all and people are killing fish left, right and centre, so you can see why it's a good idea. What's the longest you've had a fish? I had one, my longest living fish, I don't actually know how long that he lived, but my longest living fish was an albino Cory, and I got him when I got my very first 60-litre tank that I talked about. He made it through the life of that tank. He made it through the life of the 300 and whatever it was litre upgrade. He made it through that tank busting and killing 99% of all the fish in the tank. And then he lived in my fish room in the big tank there for a while. And he died this year. So that's got to be... I forgot for my 30th birthday, and I turned 40 last year, so like a good 10 years, which is pretty good. Oh dear. We're qualified enough to start a mod reunion, Ben. While we're on the subject, Simple Fish Life, he's rocketing up the charts in terms of subscribers. If you're not already, please check him out. If you're looking in the chat, you can just click those 3 buttons next to his name, and it'll take you to his channel, unless that's just me. But go and check him out, and if you like what you see, give him a subscribe. So Crux picked up a 300-litre tank yesterday with the intention of keeping discus. The research into the tank was how I came across your channel. Yeah, I've found loads of channels that way. The budget actress has been married 26 years, but he's still got a man crush on you after I ran across your video about Joey the Con. Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm going to make many more videos about Joey the Con Man, because every time I do, I lose about 100 subscribers. Because people don't like to hear the negativity, and I think I pretty much said everything I need to say. If I just keep saying the same thing over and over again, it's not really getting anyone anywhere. But you never know. Next week, if I manage to make it through 3 tins of Stella, who knows what will happen. John Floyd, devotedly discus. Yes, so Mark Evington down at Devotedly. Yeah, I don't think you'll find a more knowledgeable discus keeper or discus seller. You'll get great, absolutely brilliant service off him. Alright, what else did we want to cover? So I had a bit of an idea. Well, you can tell me if you think this is interesting or not. So I noticed that on several of my videos, the analytics for them tend to be, it's either UK or US being the top percentage of my viewers. And then after that it's Canada. And then after that it's India. So there's, in some of them, there's quite a high percentage of Indian viewers. So I thought, I know, I'll look into captioning. And I've never done captioning on a video before. So I thought I'll caption it, I'll translate it into Indian, and then maybe I'll get a few more viewers. Yes, I have seen Mark Squethics, a great channel as well. And it's like your phone's bad autocorrect on speed, and it must be my accent, as you have noticed. I do have an accent, even though I don't think it's as bad as it used to be. But what YouTube thinks I'm saying, and what they put as the captions to my videos, I'll leave it to you. Go back and watch one of my old videos and turn on captioning. Only the last one have I actually changed anything, but the rest of it is ridiculous. In fact, let's have a look and see what some of them were that they'd said. Where were we in? Is it Fish Fam? Yeah, so I tried to caption one of my videos, and these are some of the things that they changed around. Where is it? Ah, there we go. So, in my video, I was talking about the Pea Puffers, because that was the last video, obviously, and then there says, and I can tell apart the males from all the females, but the caption read, I can tear apart the males and then milk the females. Now, does that sound different to you? It sounds different to me. Another one was, the cherry shrimp are all bigger than the Pea Puffers, which they changed into, the chili shrimp are all over the people fur. There's one hiding in the water sprite looking at me. Scared one bear hiding in the water, fight cooking for me. I stuck an intake sponge on it. I stuck a primate then spun on it. don't know, is that racist? Are they being... are they going against all Scottish people? Yeah. Let's catch back up on this chat. Have you seen Mark's Aquatics? Yes, I have seen Mark's Aquatics. It's a great channel. He's another one that goes really into detail about some of his projects, so you can learn a lot from that channel. 10 years is a good run. You've got a 10-year-old Oscar. Yeah, I was surprised that that fish lasted so long, because I got it when I was a proper newbie and didn't really know much. I definitely didn't cycle that tank that I put him in, and he lived all that time. I think he was just indestructible. E-Money Cichlids NYC Flower Horns. Hello everyone. I seem genuine. Well, thank you. I'm trying to fool you all and think I'm genuine. But literally, it is just me. I'm not claiming to be an expert of anything. I'm just a guy that's into fish a bit too much, probably. The translations are ridiculous. Yes, I thought about trying to do a live translation, but that would just be too much typing. I don't think I could handle that. But if you're ever up for a laugh, go and look at some of you. If you make videos yourself, look at your own videos and see what they caption them as, or just find someone with a Scottish accent and see what his videos are auto captioned as. It's ridiculous. Eddie Laycock, thanks and good night. Good night, Eddie. Thanks for joining us. With my breeding discus, did you have any sort of night lights on them? No, is the short answer to that one. Well, when I breed them, or when I bred discus before properly, so the last time I did it properly, when I had 2 or 3 pairs on the go, they were on, I had one big light that would light the whole rack, and then I had individual LED lights that would do each tank, and I just set the timers so as the LED lights, which weren't all that bright because they were quite old and crappy ones, they would come on first and go off last, so that it would give them like a low light, then the big light, and the big light would go off, and then the low light would go off, so it kind of gave them, it wasn't a sunrise sunset effect, but it was kind of waking them up gently, if you like. But when I was breeding the ones in here, or trying to, no, that was just on or off. And I have successfully bred with just on or off. I don't think you need to do the sunrise sunset thing. I don't know whether or not it has any kind of effect on breeding, but it's an interesting question. I might have to see if that does make any kind of difference. Milk those females, yes. I showed my wife that and she was like, what have you been talking about in these videos? Let's see, have we covered everything I wanted to cover? Because I'm now getting to that point where I think it might be time to call it a day. I kind of wanted to talk about controversial products. I guess that's where I cover it with. Mine were Biohome and these Vibrabites that people were giving me some crap about. I'm not sure why they're controversial, but is there any... Maybe this is one for the comments. I think you should just leave me some comments if you've got a product you either like or really hate and you know someone else does the opposite. What is it? And we can talk about that next time, maybe. I'll give it a couple of minutes to let anyone ask any final questions they want to. See if we can do at least something fish related before we kick off. On the subjects of lights, what do you think about Kessel lights? Worth it or not? I had a Kessel light for like a fortnight or something like that, and I sent it back. It was brilliant. It was great. I just couldn't tell the difference between that and something that was a tenth of the price that I already had on my... can I show you this at all? Let's see if this camera works. You're going to have to put up with a bit of echoing. But that's the light I have on my saltwater tank now, which is called a Vibraspar or Viberspar. go back to the main one. Now it's a big old chunky unit, so there's no denying that. But that cost, what, just under 100 quid? Whereas the Kessel Light was like 5 times that or something like that. And I think that one's better. The Kessel one might look better. It probably has better spectrums and things like that. But yeah, they look nice, just not for me. I know Michael Aarons from Aarons Aquariums had the kind of, not the fake ones, but the copy ones before, the copy of Kessels. And I couldn't tell the difference. So, I don't know whether or not they're worth it. I'm probably falling on the side of no, but then I've never really got into saltwater too much. So maybe there's something about the light they give for the corals that I'm just not getting, but I don't know. There's always someone wanting to take your money for something. Ben's seeing double now. Is that one too many rum and cokes? I'm curious if you find the right missus when you go to bed. That me or Ben? Right, I think we're going to call it quits, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. As Simple Fish Life is saying there, hit that thumbs up button, show your love, share it around. I'd love to get some new people involved. We might set a new record. I've only lost 2 subscribers during this live stream. I think I lost 9 last week and 6 the week before that. So they're definitely not good for growing your channel, these live streams, but they're fun. I like to have a laugh with everyone. Is there a fish you've never kept that you would love to keep? I'd like to keep some of the big marine fish. So all your triggers and tangs and things like that. Some of them are pretty awesome. And one day I might go more into the saltwater, but I'm enjoying what I've got at the moment. Maybe some big massive puffers, something like that. You do like the shimmer, yes, but I've seen that shrimp. I get shimmer with pretty much any LED light. I don't think Kessels are anything special for shimmer. I think that's just an LED thing. Till next Friday, yes, Taryn, thanks for joining us. Good night, Crux, good night, everyone. Budget Aquarist, it was nice to have you here. He's glad he was finally able to catch one of the live videos. Time to eat some dinner and begin your weekend. Yes, all the best to everyone. Have a great weekend. Let me know what you're buying and we'll catch up again next weekend, I guess. Probably Friday or Saturday next week. I'm not sure what we'll do. But I've had the community tab opened on my page, so pop along there and I'll stick another poll on and you can let me know what night's best for you. But as always, thank you for joining me and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.